Mental health secondary to chronic pain. I'm saying chronic pain there kind of loosely because that could be severe, neck pain from your cervical spine, severe back pain from your lumbar spine. It can be really, really severe knee conditions. I've seen one veteran without a nexus, no nexus letter, no nexus letter, have 30% for each knee, had knee surgery on each knee. So the minimum rating after surgery on knees is 30%. That led to obesity. And so that veteran was able to submit mental health secondary to both service-connected knees with obesity as an intermediate step, no private nexus, and that was 70% rating is probably going to get the veteran 100%, right? And so that's probably the most high value secondary claim is mental health secondary to chronic pain. It's also extremely common, and I'm going to talk about something that popped in my mind after you give your thoughts on that, because this is going to go downhill a little bit.
Oh,
as always, that's what I'm good for, right?
Yeah. So before Clay takes us down the dark hole, so yes, I agree. That is a very common one. Sadly, they changed the criteria for insomnia as a secondary, and they really tightened the screws on that. That used to be a very common one. But it's still mental health, right? So instead of insomnia due to this, it's anxiety, depression, whatever else, another mental health thing. Because I'll tell you that insomnia does cause other issues. If you're not sleeping well, you are going to be depressed, you're going to be anxious, you're going to be all those things. So another one to get on the other side, so from mental health to something to, we'll go kind of a musculoskeletal to musculoskeletal, which I kind of talked about earlier. Usually when you have something wrong with you, especially in the lower part of your body, your back and down, you're going to have other complications. So whether it's an ankle condition that over time, I'm talking about an ankle condition that's enough to where you have to walk a little bit unsteady, right? I'm not talking about a 0% ankle. But if you have a condition that maybe you need a cane, maybe you hobble a little bit, maybe you treat it a little lightly, well, you're going to rely on the other side more. It's actually going to cause more issues, especially if you end up being off balance you catch yourself, you're holding yourself a little more. I don't know why I do the little dance to explain it, but anyway, you will see people filing those secondaries for my left side's messed up, therefore my right side is now messed up. We actually had a case back when I was a veteran service officer running the team that a guy had some, I can't remember what side now, we'll just say left side issues with his leg, had some leg issues, service connected. He was going up his stairs, lost balance and fell down the stairs and jacked up his right side, and then his right side leg was all messed up and didn't heal well and all that. Older gentleman, and he got service connected for all of that because he fell due to his left side. So then his right side became service connected, or as a secondary to that service connected left side. So that is something that's very common. Leg issues that whether it's a knee or an ankle that end up causing a back issue, or vice versa, a back issue that then ends up causing other issues. And it goes back to what we talked about earlier, Clay. It's one thing to just tell yourself, oh, well, my left leg's giving out now because of my right leg, I'm filing a claim for that, versus, hey, doc, can you do me a favor and can you attribute these new issues on this side to my other side? Right? It's common sense. It makes sense, but can you tie those together for me? Get the diagnosis, get the severity, all that good stuff, get that letter from your doc and submit that. All right, take us down the dark hole. I can't wait. I'm biting my nails off thinking about it.
I will. So first off, I do want to hit on something that you said, because it's crucial, and I really want people to understand how you said, you're not talking about a 0% for your ankle. That same veteran that had the knees, obesity, and mental health, those were 30% due to surgery, meaning that's something very serious went on that led to surgery. Take that same scenario, and he's got, limited range of motion on both knees at 10%. The VA is probably not going to attribute that to obesity, which is probably not going to lead to mental health, right? And so you won't find this in M21 TAC 1, but my opinion, it's the more severe musculoskeletal conditions that lead to secondaries, not necessarily like your 10% for your knee. Now it absolutely can, but generally speaking, go ahead. Yeah.
I got one more thing I want to throw in there. Arthritis.
Mm-hmm.
Arthritis is a secondary, right? So the back strain, back issue, back trauma, whatever happened in your back, you get rated for that. You can also get rated for arthritis as a secondary to that issue. So that's something else that I want to throw out there. I don't know how much longer we're going to talk about secondaries. I don't know that after you go down the dark hole, if we're going to come back to common secondaries.
We probably should, because it's going to get a little dark here.
Okay,
so
go dark, and then I'm going to come back with some other fun ailments that people just want to have, because that's the joy of all this, right?
It hurts so good, right? It's like, man,
yes,
I beat my wife, but I got 70% for mental health. That's a joke there, but it happens.
That was pretty bad. That was a bad joke. That's a bad one. You're going to have to fix that later.
Okay, so
you're going to have to come up with a better joke later.
I will. Not as
you know
dark
what?
as that
I'll
one.
tell you though, my dad called me this morning, and he was mad. They moved the stationery store. He was very upset about that, because it was the stationery store.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to move, you see, because it was stationary.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Okay, whatever. Go ahead.
Okay, so back to the chronic pain thing. And here's how, one, there's evidence that states chronic pain is going to lead to depression. That's extremely common. There is a whistle. I'm going to pay attention to the words I use here, because I don't want to get sued. I don't want us to get sued. Veterans Daily. It's fine. There's a whistleblower motion to file. So in court, I forgot what it's called. It's a very weird word, from a employee that worked at a specific company. You can find that out on your own. In that whistleblower report, there's a quote from that employee says, "This company almost always, with every single veteran, no matter what conditions they had, they almost always submitted for mental health, specifically depression, secondary to chronic pain, and that rating almost always came back at 50% or higher." Now, that motion to file, and I'm not even going to go deep into it, because I would really want a script to make sure I don't say what I'm not supposed to say. But that's a real thing, right? That's on the fraud side of the house. But there is some things we can actually take away from it that is good. One, there is evidence. There's medical evidence, journals, articles, all those good things from psychiatrists that actually matter, that do attribute severe chronic pain to depression. That is absolutely real. And that's just, it made me think of really the evidence gathering piece. If that is you, absolutely go seek your primary care at the VA or private. Talk about your musculoskeletal condition, your lower back pain rated at 40%, whatever that looks like for you, your knees rated at 30%, and talk about how it inhibits your life. That's what I call an evidence-based claim, and that's much safer, okay, than going through that company who did that, where the only evidence is from one DBQ that was paid for, and they failed to report to their C&P examiner. We probably don't want to go deep into that topic, Jason, right now, but I wanted to bring it up because there is hardcore evidence, right? Objective evidence linking depression to chronic pain. Okay. Back to secondaries.